So good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Hopefully this is all working perfectly normal because we're kind of streaming it a different way today, but it's the same kind of idea. For the BrAMS balance classes, BrAMS conditioning classes that we do here on a Wednesday. Welcome if you've not been here before. Then what this is about an hour long class where we do a little bit of warm up, we'll do a little bit of circuit work, and we'll do a little bit of a cool down slash stretching. And it's primarily designed and based on those who have been sent here from the BrAMS team. Okay, so you've probably been referred to this Facebook account. If you've been they've assessed you and they've said that you're suitable for the work that's about to go on in this class. Okay, as the class progresses, you'll see that there are multiple layers of challenge for every movement. So all I ask is you do what you can to do today. Don't push yourself past kind of mild discomfort, those kinds of things. We're looking to perfect the movements rather than do lots of the movements. So the way that we work is we work in 45-second blocks, followed by a rest period. But during those 45 seconds, it's about getting as many perfect reps as possible so we can build confidence, so we can build, brain to muscle connection, all those kinds of things which will help support through everyday life and movement. So if at any point you feel like you've got any problems or you're not happy or something's not kind of clicking right, all those kinds of things, please do draw it back. Please take a rest and those kinds of things. In regards to sensations, generally, you may feel sensations in the muscles themselves which are being worked. So kind of dull, warm muscle kind of feelings, perfectly fine. Mild discomfort there. Any pain in the joints, any sharp pain in the muscles, those kinds of things, we don't want those at all. So I thoroughly recommend if you feel anything like that, stop what you're doing straight away. See how it feels, and if it continues, just stop, full stop, and refer back as necessary from there. So if you do find you have any problems resulting from this, the best thing to do is refer back to the neurologists, the physios, the nurses down at the BrAMS, all those kinds of things, and to talk about your condition more. This is a live class. This is up on Facebook, as you can see, so there is technology everywhere. If you've got anything to say, if you want to say hello, you want to ask a question or something along those lines, please pop it in the comments, wherever the comments is around your screen. That will just, there may be like 10-15 second delay for two reasons. One, the live stream, there is a delay in it, but secondly, also the screen that I see everything in is just miles out of the way over there at the moment. And so I may not see it in time or for a while, so just take that into account as well. Unless obviously you're watching this on YouTube, in which case just ignore everything I just said. Things that you'll need, you're going to need a chair today. I thoroughly recommend one with arms, okay? Having the extra arms on there are going to help us use our our arms in support of certain movements and those kinds of things. They can help with stability and everything like that. Please make sure your chair is steady, it's sturdy, it's not going to slip anywhere if you lean on it or anything along those lines. That's going to be super key. Also going to need a drink, like a nice cool drink to help modulate your internal temperature and those kinds of things. So if you need a drink, make sure you've got that already. That's about all you really need. We're going to be doing the majority of the work in the chair. Some of the movements will take a level up maybe from there and everything like that. But for the most part, it's all going to be seated. And that's about it, really. I guess we just start with our warm-up then. So one of the key things today that I want you all to take on board and take onto account is what's going on with our body, okay, especially our hips above. So let's just start sat in our seat, nice and comfortable, and just bring your arms slightly behind us, okay? So we're just rotating those arms behind us, and one of the things you'll notice which is happening is as your shoulders are drawing back, your chest is pronouncing forward. As your arms are going back, squeeze those shoulder blades together, okay? Squeezing the shoulder blades as we move back, okay? Now hold it back behind and feel that position, okay? Feel those shoulder blades, push them down to your back pocket, so don't squeeze them up to your ears, push them down to your back pockets. And with those shoulder blades in your back pockets now, just put your hands on the lap, okay? So that's the kind of upper body position we want for the most part through all of our movements, this kind of good posture, shoulder blades back and down from there, okay? So every time I talk about posture, think back, are my shoulder blades pushing into my back pockets? Is my chest up? Is my head up at the horizon? And all those kinds of things. Okay, so let's get started with our warm-up. Shuffle onto the edge of your seats, and those postures on that upper body, the core's engaged to help support the upper body. And all we're going to do to start with is draw little circles with your toes, okay? So depending on how you feel today, that might be with your foot off the floor, okay? Just drawing a circle with the toes. Maybe your heel is still on the floor from there, but you're just drawing as big a circle as you can with your toes. Don't let them take away like mine. Those circles off with the heel on the floor is obviously just making my foot just twirl all the way away. And then we'll take circles the opposite way as well. Now do make sure you're on your edge of your seat for the next one, because we're going to draw circles with the knee next. So once again, depending on how you feel today, where your range of motion is today, will very much depend on how big that range of motion is for you. Maybe the toe stays on the floor, okay? And that circle just with the knee, as far as you can draw that circle. Maybe you're taking the foot off the floor just a little bit. Big wide circles, maybe you've got a nice big one from there. But we're going to go the opposite way as well next. Nice big circles. Remembering, if you start to feel yourself haunching whilst you're doing it, relaxing, all those kinds of things, don't do that. Think posture the entire time. Good. Now we're just going to do that same side arm, okay? So we'll start with the wrists. Nice big circles with the wrist in one direction. And we'll go the opposite direction too. And it's all nice and controlled. All the movements we're doing are just very controlled. Next with the elbow. So hand on the elbow, on the shoulder, sorry. And just draw circles one way with your shoulder. Nice big circles, and then the opposite way as well. Nice big circles. Excellent stuff. All right, let's start at the bottom with the other side then. So once again, we're back to the toes. So it's just a circle with the toes. One way, nice and controlled. Make sure it's you fully controlling it the entire way around. So don't just let it drop and let gravity take it. We're going the other way as well. Maybe the foot's still on the floor. Just taking as big a range of motion as you can put through that toe today. And then the knee next. So remember, maybe the toes are still on the floor as you draw that knee through the biggest range of motion possible. And try not to use your hands. I know my hands are on my laps. It's just because I'm super awkward. I don't know what else to do with them. But nice big circles is what we're looking for. Nice and controlled. And we'll go the opposite way as well. Good stuff. Okay. Bringing it to the upper body next. So remember, starting with the wrist. Nice big circles. Our posture is still up, set, straight. Oh, I feel like the Queen. Oh, hello. Hello. The opposite way as well. And then we're going to go ahead and put our hand on the shoulder. Circle the elbows. So you're drawing with the elbows. Forget about everything else. Just think about that elbow. Put that hand on the shoulder and just draw the big circles with the elbows. And then the opposite way as well. Nice and controlled through the good posture movement as we work. Good stuff. Okay. So next thing's next. We're going to take our hands and we're just going to cross them across the body. boom. And then we're just going to open them up, squeeze the shoulder blades back. And as we come forward again, it's the other arm on top and the other arm below. And then out. And we're trying to take them to the biggest range of motion that you can. So right across the body, big hug for yourself, open up the chest. Big hug for yourself, open up the chest. Open up the chest. Remember that entire time, we're sat up nice and straight. Think, you know, year 5 in assembly, you've just done something wrong. You're just talking to, you know, Johnny next to you or whatever. You've just been told off. You've been told to sit up straight in class in assembly. So you just sat up straight. That's what we're looking to do with that upper body posture. Okay, next thing we're going to do is with the legs, is we're just going to take a step out and a step in. So it's just taking our feet through the biggest range of motion that we've got today. And in. We might be sliding it across the floor. Okay? We're just trying to get as much distance between the two legs. They're like an old married couple. They've had an argument. Off they go, but they come back together because at the end of the day, they still love each other. All the way out, all the way in. All the way out, all the way in. And we're trying to control it through the entire motion. So try not to just drop them. So if you are taking steps, try not to let it just drop to the floor. Control it through the biggest range of motion that you've got. Okay, we're going to change that slightly. Now we're going forward. Once again, you're either taking big steps, maybe you're shuffling the foot forward from there. What I want you to concentrate on is just the foot straight out from the hips, okay? So think about where your knees are and drive those feet straight ahead. And then when you come back, the feet come back and the ankles go back under the knees, okay? We're simulating a walking gait here. We're getting the muscles to move around that walking gait, that forward back motion. So if you're taking steps, you're taking as big a step as you can with those knee raises. If we're just sliding the foot forward and back, that's fine, but try and maintain all that lovely linear movement from the hips down to the ankles. Lovely stuff. Okay, this is where we try and get a little bit complicated, all right? So we're going to do side steps like we did to start with, out and back. Whether that's the slide, whether that's the step, etc. But they keep moving. Now we're going to do exactly the same with the arms. So out, out, in, in. So we're all in unison. Out, out, in, in. Out, out, in, in. Or whatever your rhythm is today. Don't feel you need to keep up with my rhythm. Like I say, it's about what you can do today, not about what I'm doing, not what you did last week or anything like that. Okay, now here's where it gets, and I'm already dreading thinking about this. You're going to do opposite arm and opposite leg. So out, out, in, in. Out, see, I've already done it wrong. Out, out, in, in. Out, out, in, in. So we're just challenging that brain now to multitask. Out, out, in, in. Opposites. And if you're not laughing and feeling super awkward, like I am, just be thankful that you're at home and you're not in the gym trying to do it there with everybody giggling. Awesome stuff. Okay, so warm up done. What we're going to do for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we've got 7 exercises today. We're going to work for 45 seconds, followed by a 90-second rest. Now what I'll do during those 90-second rests, let me just move my pen out of the way. What I'll do during those 90 seconds rest is I will talk about the next movement and let you know exactly what we're doing and all those kinds of things, okay? So I need to set up my, my timer for us today. So we're working 45 seconds on, 90 seconds off, And we've got 2, 4, 7 exercises. So we're going to go through that twice. So a total of 14. There we go. So our first movement, as always, okay, is going to be the sit to stand. Okay, so sit to stand. There we go. Let's just ignore that for a second. What we're doing is we're starting in the chair, and the top level movement of this one. So if you're, depending on how you feel today and where you are, your movement will be along the lines of, you know, out of the chair and then back to the chair. Now, depending on how you're feeling today, how your body's moving and all those kinds of things, there's various little changes that we can make for you. One of the things I said at the beginning I really recommend is the arms on the chair. Because if we've got arms on your chair, we can now break this down even further with a little bit more support. So, for example, we can, keeping those elbows back, those shoulders in our back pockets, we can do just little bum raises. Okay, that's where we are today. That's fine. We're pushing up with the feet. We're bringing ourselves up. Lovely. Next step up from there, once we're happy with just the bum move, it's a supported stand. And we stand, and then we come back down the same way, hands on our supports and bring ourselves down. We stand, firing through with the hips, squeezing the glutes to stand up straight, and then we return the journey, okay? So there's our movement. And then the top one, like I say, is you're just doing it without the support, okay? So we are going 45 seconds, and then it's a 90-second rest. So starting off we go. So it's just trying to perfect the movement today. So if we're just doing the bum lifts, great. We're pushing up through the feet. The full foot is engaged on the floor. Okay, the arms are supporting, and it's just as slow on the way down and controlled as it is on the way up. Okay, don't just drop down to the seat. Slowly bring yourself down. Maybe we're going all the way up today. Oh. All the way down, all the way up, all the way down. 5 seconds to go. 2, 1, lovely. Okay, next movement is going to be some arm punches. Okay, we can do this seated, or if you fancy it, if you're spicing it up a little bit today, we can do it from standing. Okay. And what we're looking to do at this time is we're just going to do strikes up to the sky and then strikes down to the floor. Okay, and it's going to be one at a time. So we're sat in our good, once again, our good body position, shoulders back and down. And we've got to put up, up, and then down, down. Okay, so we're up, 2, down, down. Okay, so that's if we're seated. Okay. If we're taking it from the standing position, obviously we're just up, stood up normally, and as we strike up, up, then down, down. Okay? Brilliant stuff. All right. So we've got about 30 seconds left of the rest period. I'm going to take my mask out of my pocket. And so remember, it's just about, we draw the shoulders back. We're not driving these shoulders up towards our ears at all or anything like that. Try and keep them down and round towards the back. Try and keep that good posture throughout, okay? Cores engaged to help slightly stabilize and make you aware that you're doing the work, okay? So, 3 seconds, 2, 1, and we're off. So we've got a nice slow control. That's what we're looking to do. Through the biggest range of motion that you can put through every single one, okay? As I say many times with all of the work that we do, think of rhythms, okay? So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So you're just trying to kind of keep the same controlled movement through the away and the return motion. Last 10 seconds. Keep that posture on. Keep those eyes up on the horizon. 2, 1, good stuff. Okay. Next one we've got is leg raises. Now we kind of did a little bit of this during the warm-up. We did a little bit of walking and tapping and those kinds of things. What the big difference between that and this round is going to be the fact that we want to pause them. Okay, and what I mean by pause is during your leg raise, you're going to get to the end of your range of motion and you're just going to hold it for a second and then you return it back to normal. Okay, so posture in the chair. I'd recommend being on the edge of your seat, so just your butt's on the seat. And we're going to do one of two different movements, okay, depending on how you feel today. So, knee raise only. So, knee up, hold, return, okay? Same with the other leg, knee high, hold, return. And remember those rhythms that we talked about, okay? Hold the rhythm, so it's up, hold, down. So maybe it's 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. You know, so you've got that nice controlled rhythm throughout the movement. If you want to take it a little bit further, bums back in the seat and you just raise the entire foot up. Okay, same idea. 1, 1, 1. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Either way, we're off. Okay? So we're on the leg raises, let's say. Hold, back down. Up, hold, back down. Good control, that's what we're looking for. Nice and easy, especially those down sections, remember. Don't just let gravity take over. Bums back in the seat maybe, we're just doing those straight leg raises. And remember, it's the whatever your range of motion is today. The biggest range of motion that you've got. So if that's a little bit, that's fine. If we've just about got our heels off the floor, that's fine. Remember, it's the hold and then the slow bring back to the beginning we're looking for. Good stuff. All right, next one we got. We're going back to the edges of our seat. Okay. And we've got a whole different bunch of things we can do here. All right. Depending once again on how you feel today. Down by your hips right now, or just in front of your hips, in front of your chair leg, there's a nice bit of space, and I want you to touch it, okay? So during this round, what I'm going to ask you to do is just bend on down, touch the floor, come back up to that perfect posture. Back on down, right next to the chair leg, and back on up. We're not coming forward, we're not folding forward, we're coming down to touch that space right at the chair leg. Okay, so that's our basic movement. We want to take it up a little bit as well. Drive the opposite arm over the top as well. So as we go down, we fire over and then we return back to good posture. Down, over and back to good posture. You're trying to get the inside of your elbow, so your elbow pit, I guess, towards your ear. So depending on your range of motion will depend on how close that is going. Okay, so those are our options, but we're trying to get as close to that leg as we can on each side. 2, 1, off we go. And it's nice and controlled. There are no jerky movements. Remember, we're trying to be super smooth with everything that we do. Okay, so it's a side and back up. Both your butt cheeks, force them onto the chair, don't let them come off, okay? And certainly don't fall off the chair, so make sure your legs are providing you with a nice big bit of base. Good foundations to stay on. If you are finding it challenging, you have got the opposite arm, okay? To support you as you go down and to support you coming back up. So use the items around you which are available. There we go, lovely stuff. Okay, so that is our floor touch. Okay, we are going to do a little bit more punching now, and once again, depending on how you feel, we can either do this from the seated position or from stood up again. Obviously, the only big difference between the two is if you're stood up, you're rooting your feet into the floor rather than your butt cheeks into the chair, okay? So just take that into account. So this time, we've got a couple of different ones we can do. We're either taking a punch out to the side, or if you're feeling spicy today, we're taking the opposite hand to punch over to the side, okay? So it's a full twist over to the side. All right. Once again, both butt cheeks are trying to stay planted firmly on the chair. Boom. So we're twisting our upper torso as we reach across the body. Okay. So either a single arm or a single arm. Or if you want to get really fancy, you can go 1, 2, back to the middle. But you're swapping sides as you go. So it's just a single, it's a single, or maybe you're doing a 1, 2 from there, okay? And we swap sides. Now, obviously, it goes without saying that if someone is sat next to you, give them space, don't hit them, okay? I usually like to say that that can go without saying, but I've got kids, and you can't not say things like that. Off we go. So 1, maybe we just got that good posture, and we're just taking it nice and controlled. Once again, think about that rhythm. 1, 1, 1, 2. Maybe we're crossing the body. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Maybe we're doing both. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Whatever your range of motion is, remember, challenge yourself. Whatever way you are doing it. Maybe you're just mixing it up and you're having a little dance in there. Brilliant. That's our 45 seconds. So we started with the punching, then we did cross body punching. We started with the floor touching. Now we're going to do cross the body floor touching. So we're still on the edge of our seats. We start with good posture. In the last round we did the floor touch. We were touching the just in front of the legs or as close to them as we could get. This time you're going to try and touch the opposite side, okay? So I'm taking, for example, my right hand, trying to get down to that left side and then bring it back up. Taking that left hand down to that right side and trying to get back up. It's a little bit more challenging, there's a little bit more twisting and there's core to bring us back to normal, those kinds of things. So challenge yourself today. If you need the extra support, obviously remember there are chairs with arms, if you're lucky enough to have them, where you can get down and you can push back up for extra support if you need to. Down, oh, I can't quite get that, push back up from there, okay? Whatever your range of motion is, that's how far you can go. So obviously when you look at myself, my twist, I can't get down to the floor, okay? On that side, I can on that side, just a little bit injured in my lower back. But whatever your range of motion is today, going through to the end of that range of motion, off we go. We got 45 seconds, a nice twist, and then back to normal. There it is. Back to normal. And every time we come back to the middle, don't just fly from side to side, okay? Reset in that good body posture. Let's get this posture set every time. There's my bend over. Good body posture. Remember, shoulder blades back and down. We go back down. Back up. Good body posture. Every single time. Every single finish and start of every rep should be set in a good body posture. Like you're in assembly. 3 seconds. There it is. Good stuff. Okay, and the last one for the round before we repeat is going to be the heel raises, or the calf raise, however you know it. Essentially what we're doing is we're leaving toes on the floor, bringing the heels as high as we can, pausing, and then returning them to the floor. Okay, so bums on the edge of the seat, and you're just driving those heels up, pause, slowly back down. Just as slowly back down as on the way up, okay? Up, pause, back down. We can obviously, if that's a little bit too challenging on your muscles, those kinds of things, you can do one leg at a time. But you're just getting up to the full range of motion from there. Now the other option is to do this leaning over a counter or over the chair. This is one of the reasons why I talked about how we want a nice stable chair. So if you're next to a work surface or a big chair, table, you can be leant on over to do this movement. But remember, shoulders back and down, good upper body posture, so you can up on the toes, back down on the heels, okay? Up on the toes, back down on the heel. But if you are doing that chair, please remember to try and check that it's sturdy before. There'll be nothing worse than you leaning on it and it's slipping away. Off we go then. So we got 45 seconds. So once again, remember your rhythm. 1, 2 seconds, hold. 1, 2 down. 1, 2, hold. 1, 2 down. Nice and controlled. That's what we're looking to do every single time. Up, hold, back down. 1, 1, 1. 1, 2, 3. Okay? And make sure your knees aren't kind of coming together and supporting each other. Make them parallel. Okay? What we'll do, in fact, we'll do that next week. 2, 1, there we go. So just a side note, make sure you've got a ball next week or a cushion, those kinds of things. And if I don't say it at the beginning of the class, someone has to remind me next week, okay? Okay, so that's the end of our first round. If you need a drink, now's a great chance to get a drink. You're not going to miss any extra information because we're going to go back to the top and go through all 7 exercises one more time. Okay, good. So we start back with our sit to stand, all right? So remember, this is, there are those 3 areas of movement for us. We're either just doing the bum raise, the supported stand, or the full stand, okay? Key to everything and every single movement we're doing, if you think you're challenging yourself to get to that next level and you want to try the next level up, is your posture set, okay? If you are managing to do a movement with good posture, with that upper body set in a good position, your head on your shoulders, looking up at the horizon, those kinds of things, then you're ready to go up to that next level, okay? That next challenge level. So try and keep it set like that, okay? So 15 seconds, sit to stand. Ooh. And remember, it's either just the bum raise, the full stand, or the unsupported stand. Off we go. Try and get as much of your weight onto the feet, okay? Onto the feet, boom. Onto the feet, firing the glutes, squeezing and standing up, pushing those hips through, coming down nice and slowly once again. I would say if you can challenge yourself to make your motion down slower than your motion up, you're going to get a lot of good work in. So let's see if we can do that. 1, 2, 3 seconds for me to get up. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Good stuff. Okay. And in fact, the hardest thing about doing that exercise for me is I've got to that age now where every time I stand up or sit down, I make that noise there. So the hardest thing for me is not making that noise during class. Thumbs up. Okay. Next movement is the punches. So it's the up-down punches. So once again, the key to everything, and I'll keep banging on about it, is that upper body posture. Let's set that upper body posture, okay? What's happening is just having this upper body posture and challenging the body through these different motions, okay? We're making the core engage to help balance out the support to the spine, okay? So when we're moving side to side and twisting, the muscles are pulling us and those kind of things, don't get me wrong, but it's also there to stabilize your spine. If the core is not stabilizing your spine, that's when we get kind of bad problems. So that's what we're doing. That's why every movement that we do is nice and slow and controlled, okay? We don't want any jerky motions or anything like that. Everything is nice and controlled. So, thumbs on the edge of the seat, feet nicely under the knees, and our posture is set. And remember, it's up, up, down, down. Maybe you're taking it from standing. Regardless if you're doing it seated or standing. 2, 1, off we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Brilliant stuff. And remember, work to your rhythm. Don't keep up with me. Don't feel you have to go faster. Don't feel you have to go slower. You find your rhythm today that you're happy with. Just remember your key points. The shoulders themselves are not gaining any ground to those ears. So keep those shoulders away from ears. Down, down. The last 10 seconds. One of the other things you can do to make it more challenging is hold it at the end of every range of motion. There we go. Down is done. Okay. Yeah, so any motion, some of the things we do, for example, in the next one that we're going to do, is these pauses halfway through. To make movements more challenging, we're always talking about engaging the muscles. And so time under tension on the muscles is going to stimulate them for a longer period of time, makes our brain to muscle connection a little bit better, all those kinds of things, because you're doing more work. Because if you think about your muscle that engages, if you move it on and then off, but if you're moving it on and then you hold and then you come off, you're doing more work. So if you find any of the movements are too easy, or even at the top end of the challenge is not enough for you, think about adding a pause at the end of the range of motion, okay? That'll increase the intensity for you again. Okay, so two different versions we've got on the next one, okay? We've got just the bog standard knee raise, as high as we can take it, hold, return to the floor. Posture is set throughout. And both of these movements, the knee or the leg raise, if your posture breaks, okay, that's the end of your range of motion. Your range of motion is only there as far as your posture stays up. So it's just the knee raises, or we're taking a full leg raise instead, okay? So whichever one you're doing, 2, 1, off we go. The full leg raises are much trickier, okay? Especially when you try and raise the hamstring off the chair as well, the backs of the legs, okay? So just be aware of that. If it's your first class today and you've not done these movements before in a workout base, start at the bottom, work your way up. So start with those knee raises, just the biggest range of motion that you've got. Hold it at the top, return it to the bottom. It's all very calculated and controlled. With the leg raises, maybe you're just straightening the legs to start with, trying to work on that movement pattern. Then maybe you're doing the whole leg raise as well. There we go. And with those leg raises, especially in the knee raises, just like I talked about at the beginning during the warm-up, try and keep the legs in that nice walking gait, okay? So try not to just let the legs flop out and do it over to the side, and try not to, when you're going through the motion, bring it off axis or anything like that. Whatever you're doing, try and see it everyday application, and try and work through that movement pattern, because that's what we're here for, to build confidence, to build pathways from brain to muscle through everyday motion. Okay, leg raise is done, onto the floor touch. So we're our bums on the edge of the seat again, and we've got our feet set nicely, because that's going to help stabilize us as well. So feet under knees, little bit of weight on the feet, good posture back as well. And what we're going to do is we're folding down towards the floor to touch straight on the gap in front of your chairs. Now I've just realized that completely depends on what kind of legs you've got on your chairs, okay? I've got bog standard 4, okay? So if you've got 4 legs on your chair, you're reaching down to touch right next to each one on the side. If you haven't and you've got some other weird 5 legs, 3 legs, 1 legs, whatever, you know what I'm talking about. Straight under your bums is where you're basically trying to touch, okay? And it's just nice and controlled and back up. If you need the extra support, remember you've got the arm of the chair for that little bit of support. And if you want to increase the intensity, bring the arm over the top, trying to get your elbow pit towards your ear, okay? Whatever you do, do it in control, because we don't want to, we're in a precarious situation here. We don't want to go tumbling out of the chair. So everything is in control. Everything's deliberate. Keep the butt cheeks on the floor. 3 seconds. Lovely stuff. Okay. Next one we're on to is the cross punches now, or the side punch, or the 1-2. So once again, posture set, sat in the seat. Butt cheeks stay firmly planted on the chair. It's either just the side punch, boom. Whichever side your arm is, boom. We can take it up a level by bringing the opposite arm across and back. Opposite arm across and back. Or if you want to get super spicy, it's 1, 2, back. 1, 2, back. The whole time you are kind of trying to keep that posture up. Don't let those shoulders up towards the ears. Keep those shoulder blades back and down. If you're kind of forgetting about the movement and how it feels, you can just bring those hands back behind the back briefly. Get that feeling in the brain, then bring the hands on back. Okay, so remember, we've got the side punches, both sides from there, and we're going for 45 seconds, nice and controlled, no jerky movements or anything like that. Okay, so when you're ready, we're starting in 3, 2, 1, and we're off. So maybe it's just the side punch. Everything's up at shoulder level. Okay, that's where we're aiming for, shoulder level. Okay, maybe we've got the cross body punch, boom. Oof. That's good. Full extension. Maybe we've got the 1-2. 1, 2 across. 1, 2 across. 1, 2 across. Keep that head up at, looking out on the horizon, okay? The whole time. Don't drop the head down. You're almost feeling like you've got a piece of string hanging off the top of your head that someone's pulling on up to keep that posture up. There we go. Okay, so the next movement we've got is the cross floor touch, okay? And we're taking ourselves from seated. Once again, we're still at the edge of our seats. Feet are still firmly planted on the floor. And as before, we took ourselves down to the chair leg on our side. Now we're going down to the opposite side, okay? Each and every time, and remember, we're resetting back at this good body posture position, okay? Every single time. So we're taking the opposite arm, we're coming across, getting as close to the floor as possible. Don't worry about driving the head down or anything like that. Just take those hands as close as you can to that opposite side. If we need that extra support to push ourselves back out, remember you've got the arms of the chair to help you with that, okay? So it's the cross and we can push ourselves up. Trying to keep the butt cheeks firmly planted in the seat, because that's all about balance there. If we start to levitate, not levitate because that'd be weird. If we started to lean too far and the butt cheek comes up, your center of balance is moving more and more off of our nice firm base. So you're just going through your range of motion until you either touch that floor or you feel the end of your range of motion or that butt cheek comes off the floor, off the seat. Off we go, 45 seconds. It's very important we stay in that chair because we don't want to fall out of it. Unless you've got a nice swimming pool next to you you're falling into, as long as it's nicely heated. And it's just across and down. Keep those butt cheeks firmly planted. We've got our feet firmly planted as well. We've got this great foundation going on where it's holding ourselves. And it's just across and then down. Back up, remember, to our start position posture. Down, back up to posture. 2, 1, done. Okay. And then our last one today, and then we'll get on to our calf raises. And what we're looking to do is just go high with the heels, okay? So feet will stay under our heels. Feet will stay under our knees. And we're just firing up holding it and returning it down again. Firing up, turning it down. Remember, option to do it single leg. That's obviously available. Think about your timings, your rhythm. 1, 2, 3, maybe. Maybe you challenge yourself and do it in sets of 2. 1, 2, holding, 3, 4, reducing, 5, 6. Okay? And remember, you can also take it to the seat as well, to the standing, sorry. So you're leaning over a surface or over the chair, good body posture, because those shoulders are backing down, and you're going up with the heels and back down again. Remember, it's all very slow and controlled. You're going through your biggest range of motion from there, okay? And that down motion, don't drop it. Go down nice and slow. Like we talked about earlier, see if you can almost bring it down even slower than when you've gone up, okay? 2, 1, 45, off we go. Let's bring myself back a little bit so we can see the feet. So 1, 2, I'm going to hold for 2. 1, 2, I'm going to bring it down for 3. 1, 2, 3. So I'm in full control. I'm making the movement. I'm not allowing gravity to take over. Very controlled. And then back down. We're going to do some standing as well. So we've got our good body posture. We're up, holding, and then slowly back down. Up, holding, and slowly back down. 2, 1. There we go. Lovely stuff. Excellent work, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, children of all ages. Okay, so that's our circuit done today. One thing you noticed, if you are regular, is we did 2 rounds at 45 seconds and we didn't slow it down that time. So one of the things that we're going to do as time goes on is we are going to mix in a little bit more challenging, not only work in levels so that you can progress from level to level, but also changing around the time that we work for and those kinds of things. We should be looking to make progress through not only our comfort but our ability to perform the actions for an extended period of time. So as time goes on, we'll play around with those kinds of things and we'll keep it fresh as well. Okay, so we're going to stretch off to finish off. I'll just turn my countdown timer off. There we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to do it all from the chair. Now, I'm an advocate of stretching very, very regularly. I stretch 2 to 3 times a day. Okay, I also do it mostly sitting down because I sit down with my cup of coffee and watch the TV. I sit down at my desk, do the work, all those kinds of things. So I'm always sitting down. What it allows you to do by stretching from the seat is 2 things. Do other things at the same time, like I say, watching TV, doing work, those kinds of things. But it also allows you to support your posture and to use gravity to help you with the stretch. So let's have a look, shall we? Let's start at the edge of our seats to start with, and we're just going to bring our feet under our knees. So heels under the knees, legs are parallel from there. Okay, first thing I'm going to ask you to do is just forward fold, straight on down, as close to the floor as you can get. And we just hold it down there. Okay, nice and controlled. Don't need to worry about too much effort. We're letting gravity do it. Okay then, and then we're going to bring it back up, and I'm going to ask you now is just to move your legs slightly further forward, so you've just got probably your weight on your heels rather than on your whole feet, and then we're just going to forward fold again. Okay, so this time your heels are taking a little bit more of the weight rather than the whole foot, and it's going to slightly change where we are feeling the stretch. Maybe we feel a little bit more on the hamstrings, okay? Okay, we bring it back up, and then one last time we just take those legs a little bit further away, heels a little bit further away, and the same thing. You're just going to go down posturally as far as you can. At some point, you're not going to be able to go any further, and then you fold as well. So what you'll notice is the further away that those legs get, the less range of motion you have. We've got all kinds of different bits and bobs in our legs which are now engaged, so it does reduce your range of motion. So mine, you can see right now, it's completely changed. I have very little range of motion down to this point. Okay, and then back on up. Good stuff. All right, let's bring the legs back under the heels. And this time, you're going to take one hand, whichever one you want, place it on the opposite knee, and then turn all the way around. Maybe you take your hand to take you round. Maybe that hand sits on the back of the chair. But try and keep your legs parallel. Don't let it collapse into each other. And your posture is set, and you're turning the body round through the biggest extension that you can. And keep nice, controlled breathing. And then we're going to bring ourselves back and then go the opposite way. So opposite hand on the knee, maybe on the back of the chair. Maybe you're just driving that hand back through the biggest range of motion you can. And there's multiple areas that you may feel this stretch. Okay, you may feel it in your hips, you may feel it in your chest, in your back, your shoulders, depending what you're holding on to, depending how tight your muscles are, those kinds of things will completely change how you feel the stretch. Lovely stuff. And we're going to come back to the middle. We're going to take 1 foot forward, keep 1 foot back in that normal position. Okay, and we're going to forward fold one more time. Okay, so you're just trying to drive the foot to, drive the hand towards the foot. So if you can, point the toe up, and you're trying to get down to reach it. Okay. And then what I want you to do is, we've done that, great. The foot that you're trying to touch, which is pointing up to the floor, just push that down to a flat foot position now as you're still folding over. Try and maintain a straight leg with that foot. And then back up. I'm going to do the same with the opposite foot. So first, the leg straight with the toe high, and we're trying to get down to that toe. We're holding it for a little bit, and then we're just going to flatten that foot down towards again. Trying to maintain a and then back up again. Good. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the legs just outside of hip width. Good body posture up again. And we're just going to go down to the floor, or as far as you can take yourself down today. And then we bring ourselves back up, and just like we did earlier, we'll just take those feet a little bit further away, bring ourselves down again, forward folding towards the floor. And then let's go ahead and bring ourselves back on up. And we just go bums back in the seat, or as far back as we can, to create enough space for us to just bring our hands behind the back, and we're just going to drive those shoulders back and down towards our back pockets. So those hands are behind our back and they're clasped, they're pushing down and away from our shoulders. Then we're going to bring one hand across the body, up at shoulder level, and then just hug it on into the body as well. Remember, as we go through these things, we're still keeping that good posture. Try and maintain good body posture throughout, and then we'll take it through the other side as well. There we go. There we go. Okay, that's all we've got for today. So thank you very much for coming along. As always, these classes are 100% for you beautiful people who have been referred here from like Liv and Sophie and those kinds of things down at BrAMS. So if there's anything that they've given you to do exercise-wise, which you maybe think would be really suitable for the class, send me a message, let me know, because the chances are if it's good for you, it'll be good for everybody else. If you can leave a like on the video, we like to see who's coming along and doing the videos as well. That'd be great. Maybe even leave a comment somewhere in the comment section as well. If you're doing it live, great. Like I say, leave that like, let us know. If you're not doing the class live, if you're doing it catch up, drop a comment. Let us know when you're doing it. We like to know when it's being used and all those kinds of things as well. I think that's about it. But have a great day. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll be back live again next week at 11:30. So yeah, boom. And as always, obligatory high five to finish.